Hello, Chicago. Welcome back on in Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Got a lot lined up for you in the show here tonight. It is baseball season. The Cubs, they've officially started their Major League campaign with a couple games over in Champaign last week. We'll look back on those two, and then we will see how the boys in blue are preparing for the domestic opener this Thursday out in Arizona. The White Sox, they're going to be home against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. We will cut the page for that tonight and take a look at their season as well. Will the Cubs return to the postseason for the first time since 2020? Will the White Sox avoid 120 losses for the second year in a row? All that plus more coming up in the episode tonight. Plus, we will look at Illinois' job in the NCAA tournament. Both the men's and women's, both teams have been eliminated. We'll look back at their tournament runs and try to see what might be in store in the future for both the men's and women's programs there in Illinois. And we've got a couple things to celebrate over on the west side as well with the Blackhawks and the Bulls. A couple of nice individual achievements. All that plus more coming up right now in Chi-Town Weekly. Buckling on up, everybody. Let's have some fun. And hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Glad so much that you are here with us. We got a lot to go through in the show here tonight. Baseball is here. It is time. The baseball season is upon us. The Cubs have already started their season, while the White Sox, they will be starting the domestic portion of the season with most of the rest of Major League Baseball on Thursday. So we will preview the upcoming season on both sides of town. We'll look at the projected regular lineups on both sides, the starting rotations, and what expectations are on both sides of town. We will get you taken care of there for the summer companion sport, as well as look back on the tournament runs for both Illinois' men's and women's teams. They've both been eliminated from the tournament. We'll look back at the tournament run for both of them. And then we've got some individual things to celebrate for both the Blackhawks and the Bulls tonight. So lots to get to, lots to do. Big show in store for everybody tonight. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. And then when we come back, we will dive right in, starting with the Chicago Cubs. This is Chi-Town Weekly on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be right back after this. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns up the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Kernick, very glad to be back with you. Lots to get to on the show here tonight. Thank you to each and every one of our sponsors as well. Really thank them for their support, not just of this show, but of all the shows on the station, on the network. Thank you for all of those. And you heard all of them there. Also want to give a shout out to Raw Nutrition Supplements as well. Go to getrawnutrition.com. Use the promo code IESR for 10% off of your order. So thank you to all of the sponsors for their support. You heard how to follow along with IE Sports Radio there. You can also follow along with this show. We are available on Twitter at IESRC, or you can follow along with me personally. I am at Adam_Kernick. And if you want to take things up the next level as far as supporting this show, first of all, listen. If all you do is listen, I appreciate that. I am glad that you are here. Share it with your friends. Let people know that you enjoy this show, that you listen into this show. Let people know this is something that you do and I love that. But if you want to take it up a little bit of a notch as well, you can join the supporters club. Go to Spreaker.com and you can officially become a supporter of the show here on IE Sports Radio. It is a once a month subscription of $5 that gets you premium access to tailor-made episodes and vignettes that I put together just for you, the listener, for joining the supporters club. I've got a little thank you in there, and then once a month I will be putting in specialized content just for you guys in there. If you've got something, and if you've got a topic in particular that you want me to go a little bit more in depth on, or just a story that you want to talk about, something that's near and dear to you, hit me up again on social media. You can follow along at Adam_Karnick or at IESRC. Drop me a line there and I will tailor make something specifically for you as a thank you for being a member of the supporters club. So thank you guys for that. And if you are listening live to the show here tonight across YouTube or Twitch or Twitter, let me know that you're here. Drop us a line in the comments. Brian Franchione is in here. Good evening, Adam. Good evening, Brian. Glad to see you here. Taryn Rodriguez. I know he's had a long travel day getting back to his home out in California. Good evening, Adam. Have an awesome show. Going to do our best. Going to try to. And Taryn getting us caught up on everything's happening with Loyola's men's volleyball team. They got 2 big wins this past week, beating Ohio State in 3 out of 4 sets, and then turned around and beat number 7 CSUN in a 5-set thriller. The Ramblers are now ranked 6th in the nation. Taryn, amongst other things here at IE Sports Radio, is the host of our volleyball show, Set Point. You will not find a more in-depth volleyball show anywhere out there. If you at all enjoy volleyball, give Taryn a follow, give him a listen. He will keep you up to date with everything happening out there. So good evening, gentlemen. I'm glad to see you're here. It is baseball season. We are just days away from, for Cubs fans, I guess this is being considered the domestic opener, since the Cubs kind of got a head start there going over to Japan. They played some games against some of the Japanese major league clubs, and then they played 2 games against the Dodgers that counted to officially open the MLB season. Those 2 games did not go great for the Cubs overall. They dropped both of them in Japan, and a lot of the same issues and problems from last season reared their heads again. They dropped the first one 4-1, and then the second one 6-3 in the Tokyo series. In the opener, they managed just 3 hits. And then in the second game, they got a few more base runners. They got 8 base hits, but they could not get guys home when they were in scoring position, which was a problem all last season for the Cubs. Just not just generating offense, but generating timely offense as well. And that continued to be a problem. Now it's just 2 games, and it's also against the Dodgers, who are the reigning World Series champions. So we shouldn't go too bonkers. We shouldn't go too crazy, too upset here with those numbers, but it is a little frustrating and a little upsetting as we get started into the season here. But everybody that went over to Japan, they had a really good time. It was, for a lot of those guys, it was the trip of a lifetime for a lot of them. For some of those guys, that may have been their first time ever going overseas. Meanwhile, for guys like Shota Imanaga, and for Seiya Suzuki, you're returning home and you're getting to bring your teammates and friends and new family home with you to see everything and introduce them firsthand to your culture. That had to be an amazing experience for those guys. So obviously, nobody had any cross words to say about that, but you do wish the results would have been a little better. Shota Imanaga, he did start the opener and went 4 scoreless innings. So you like that from him. He played well. Justin Steele in the second game, a little bit tougher to open up, but still got took a tough one, but still got back healthy. You would have liked to have at least won one of the games, but you kind of understand, okay, it is what it is. You're playing against the Dodgers, you're going overseas. You came back healthy. That's the biggest thing. So what's up for the Cubs this season? What is the 2025 season have in store for the Cubs? So the Cubs, of course, coming off of back-to-back 83 win seasons. You would like to see better results. Craig Counsell was the biggest change from a season ago. Didn't change any of the end results as far as wins and losses were concerned. They finished with exactly 83 wins towards the bottom of the National League Central. Of course, anytime you're talking baseball, you're wanting to look at that starting rotation. That's the lifeblood of any team. Of course, we talked about Imanaga and Steele. Steele will get the start on Thursday for the domestic opener. We'll also see Jameson Taillon and then Shota Imanaga on Saturday, and then Matthew Boyd will be the number 4 starter. Javier Assad is right now in there as the 5th starter for now, but he is on the 15-day injured list. So we'll see how they actually how they do that going forward. Out of the bullpen, we might see Ben Brown start on Sunday in Arizona. We might see a bullpen day there in Arizona. We'll see how they handle that 5th spot right out of the gate. But at least for now, Javier Assad is kind of penciled in to that 5th spot. Big changes also for the pitching staff in the bullpen. The Cubs bullpen a season ago struggled, blowing 13 out of 26 possible. They blew 26 saves overall a season ago. We'll see what they can do to improve on that. New closer in town, Ryan Presley. Also, Porter Hodge comes in to help on the back end of the bullpen. We'll see guys like Ben Brown. We might see Cade Horton in there. Good evening, Ralph Calise saying hello. Good to see you there, sir. And hopefully when the Cubs play the Pirates, they will avoid Paul Skeens in every opportunity this season. That would only be fair after they faced him literally every single time they played the Pirates a season ago. So it would only be fair that they miss out on him. The regular everyday lineup, at least how it is right now, is going to be first base, Michael Busch. Second base, Nico Horner, which he has started playing in Arizona. He has joined the spring training team. Now that spring training is finishing up and wrapping up, we have seen Nico Horner out there a little bit with the team. So expectations are that he should be able to go out there and play a regular amount of games. If not, you do have John Birdie, who acquitted himself very well over in Japan. He had 3 hits in one of the games. I'm going to double check which game that was against. against the Dodgers. I believe that was the second game. So I'm pulling up. Yeah, John Bertier was 3 of 4 in the second game there. So acquitted himself very well. So if Nico Hoerner can't go, then you've at least got something there that good evening, Larry, as he hops in. Oh, and Ralph asking about the banners getting burned in United Center. Yes, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Brought that up last week, but yeah, yeah. That's one way to take away Michael Jordan's legacy. We'll talk about we can talk about that a little bit more later on. But yes, yeah, the banners at United Center got burned a couple weeks ago during a concert. Whoops. At third base, it'll be the rookie Matt Shaw getting the bulk of time there. He did strain an oblique at the very beginning of spring training, but he made the trip to Japan. He got his first major league hit there in Japan. So we'll see how much we get out of him. Of course, Justin Turner will be there to help out from time to time there, as well as to back up Michael Busch over at first. Dansby Swanson is still going to be the regular everyday shortstop, hoping to see some better offense out of him this season. And then the outfield, Ian Happ returns in left field. Pete Crow Armstrong in center field, hoping for a big jump out of him. No, the Bears are not burning contracts. No, Larry. And then Larry jumping in that the Dodgers will miss Justin Turner. Yeah, he's going to be a nice piece for the Cubs, kind of backing up Matt Shaw, just being a nice kind of veteran presence to help him there a little bit. I don't know how much in the field Turner will play. When he does, frankly, I would expect to see him more at first than at third, quite frankly. But we'll see some of Justin Turner. I think he'll also be the DH quite a bit as well for the Cubs. And then, of course, the big acquisition, right fielder Kyle Tucker. That was the big offseason piece, the trade for Kyle Tucker for the Cubs. We'll see how he'll play out in right field for the Cubs at Wrigley. He is in the final year of his deal. Excuse me. So you know that he's looking to try and parlay that into a big deal for himself. Try to have a big year for the Cubs at Wrigley. Wrigley is traditionally a great place if you're trying to boost your offensive numbers. Didn't play that way a season ago, but historically it always has been. And then at DH, Seiya Suzuki will be the regular designated hitter, though I would not be surprised if we wind up seeing a decent amount of Justin Turner in that role by the time all is said and done. Big question for the Cubs that I have coming into this season is, where is the offense going to come from? We saw in Tokyo that even with Kyle Tucker in the lineup, that did not translate to instant offense the way that maybe they would have hoped that it would. This is a Cubs team that struggled a season ago to score runs. They were 12th in Major League Baseball at scoring runs a season ago. That sounds really good until you know there's only 30 teams in MLB, not 32 like in the NFL. So 12 is above average, but not a whole lot more than that. They're going to have to be better. That's the thing for me with the Cubs, is they're going to have to generate more offense. They brought in Kyle Tucker. Justin Turner is there to be a nice secondary DH in case Seiya Suzuki continues to struggle. He struggled in Japan a little bit. He had an 0 for 4 with, what was it, 4 strikeouts in one of the games there against the Dodgers. I'm gonna pull it up here. Yeah, Seiya Suzuki Seiya Suzuki in that game 0 for 4 with multiple strikeouts. You never want to see that from anybody, least of all your DH. Makes it tough, makes it hard. Pete Crow Armstrong, that's somebody that we know that the defense and the speed on the base paths is there. Can he get on the base paths? For right now, you would expect that PCA is probably going to be either the 8 or 9 hitter regularly in that lineup, kind of a secondary leadoff spot there. If he can get on base regularly, and if that bat can pick up, he can be a very dangerous guy. And then, of course, the big one is Matt Shaw, a very touted, heralded rookie, but a rookie and very raw. Not a whole lot of time in the minor leagues, as we've talked about before. Will the bat translate to the major leagues, and how quickly will it translate? The Cubs have been looking for a consistent offensive third baseman since trading away Chris Bryant. Will Matt Shaw be that guy? Expectations are that he can fill that role. He can do that. But is it going to translate to the major league level, and is it going to do so in any kind of a timely manner? The Cubs are the favorites to win the National League Central, but they've been the favorites the last couple of years, and Milwaukee just continues to figure out ways to keep things going up there. We'll see if this can be the year that the Cubs can finally put things together. They're still defensively, they're still a stout defensive team. They really are. We see that all across the diamond. Swanson and Horner are terrific up the middle. Pete Crow Armstrong is outstanding defensively as a center fielder. He's one of the best defensive center fielders in Major League Baseball. No question about that as far as I am concerned. But are they going to score enough? Are they going to score enough runs to keep things going? That's the big question for me, for the Cubs heading into this season. They will start things off. They will start things off. We mentioned in Arizona for 4 games. Then they stay out west. They play the Oakland Athletics for 3 games before then having the home opener next weekend. They host the Padres Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then host the Rangers after that, and then so on and so forth with the schedule. So not an easy start to the schedule, really, all the way through April. I mean, they play the Dodgers again. They play 5 games against the Dodgers in April. They play 6 games against the Padres. They're done with the Diamondbacks by the end of April. They've also got the Phillies in April, and then closing things out in Pittsburgh against the Pirates to close out the month of April. It is a tough start to the season for the Cubs. We'll see what they're able to do. Hopefully they can get off to a little bit better of a start to this season and not have to be working so uphill like they were a season ago. That will do it for our Cubs preview. We are going to take a quick break, and then on the flip side, we will have the White Sox preview. Oh boy, hold on to your hats for this one. Hopefully there's going to be more than just milkshakes that we'll be talking about on the south side of town this season, though. There's a new one of those too. All that and more coming up next here on Chi-Town Weekly, part of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnick will be right back after this.
Hello, IE Sports Radio family and other sports families. My name is Alden Kay, and I want to welcome you to the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you're a fan of the Valley and the Grand Canyon State like me, then I've got the show for you. Tune in every week, where I will update you and give you the latest news for the Arizona Cardinals, Phoenix Suns, Arizona Diamondbacks, ASU Sun Devils, U of A Wildcats, GCU Antelope, and of course, the NAU Lumberjacks. Again, if you're a Valley sports fan and like all that is desert sports like me, tune in every week here on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll see you then.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Mike from Indie Sports Nation. Come hang out with me each and every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk things Indiana sports. We talk Colts, Pacers, Fever, Indy Ignite, and we dive into the college scene as well. Boilermakers, Hoosiers, Irish, Bulldogs, and every school in between. And we don't stop there. We'll sprinkle in some NHRA and cover the IndyCar series. From the turf to the hardwood to the track, we got you covered. Come hang out with your boy, Big Mike, each and every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Indie Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnick back with you here. So we previewed the Cubs there in the first segment of the show. Now we're going to go a little further south and do the same and do likewise on the south side of town, the Chicago White Sox 2025 season preview. Of course, we know what last season was for the White Sox. That was historically horrible, awful, miserable. The less that we say about last year, the will be the better. So things have got to be better this year, right? It's hard to be the historically worst team in Major League Baseball 2 years in a row, right? Well, we'll see what we've got going on for the White Sox. Of course, we'll start things off looking at the starting rotation. It's a very, very, very different rotation from it was a season ago. Of course, Garrett Crochet, of course, is no longer with the White Sox. He was traded away to Boston for some prospects. In fact, every single pitcher in the White Sox starting rotation is new to the rotation this year. There is no holdover from a season ago. Starting off with Sean Burke, he will get the opening day nod on Thursday, followed by Davis Martin, Jonathan Cannon, Martin Perez, and then Drew Thorpe is currently listed as the fifth starter, but we'll see how soon it'll be till he actually gets out there and what things will look like at that point for them with him, because Drew Thorpe is currently injured. But the White Sox, because they're starting at home, they've got a little bit more flexibility into their starting rotation. They may not need a fifth starter right out of the gate like some of the other teams will. They'll be able to do a little bit more. They've got some more off days built into the front, so they may not need a fifth starter right away there. But still, Sean Burke, he gets the nod. The 25-year-old righty will be the opening day. Will be the opener for them, and the top of the pitching rotation. He made 4 appearances just a season ago for the Sox. 3 of them were starts. 1 of them was out of the pen. Davis Martin, meanwhile, a 28-year-old right-hander. We'll see what he's able to bring. Then Jonathan Cannon, another righty, going third. Martin Perez, a more veteran presence on the pitching staff, a 33-year-old crafty left-hander. And then Drew Thorpe, of course, a 24-year-old right-hander. So Perez, he made some waves in the offseason, saying that the White Sox will be competitive this season. Yes, he meant that seriously. No, I don't think they're going to be competitive, but I like hearing him say things like that he, trying to speak it into existence there. I got no problems with him doing that. I like that for the White Sox. I got no problems with that. In the regular lineup then for the White Sox this year, they're going to feature Corey Lee as the first man up for catcher, Andrew Vaughn at first, Josh Rojas at second, though he is injured right now, so it'll probably be Lenine Sosa starting on Thursday in the opener. Miguel Vargas over at third, Chase Meadroth at shortstop, Andrew Benintendi in left, Luis Robert Jr. in center field. Mike Tauchman should be the regular everyday right fielder, though he's injured at the moment, so it could very well be Austin Slater or Nick Matten starting in right field on the first day. We'll see who gets it. And then Miguel Vargas, if he's not at third, he'll be the designated hitter. We could see Brian Ramos starting at DH then to start off the season. Mike Pat commenting here. The White Sox starting rotation has people in it, and similar for the lineup. The White Sox lineup also has people in it. Yeah, it is not a lineup or a rotation that strikes fear into the hearts of anybody right now across baseball. This is a team that I've been, I hear all the time from baseball people, and a lot of them are smart baseball people. So I got to believe that they mean it, and they truly do think this, that the White Sox are going to be better, that the White Sox are going to be better. They're not going to be as bad as they were a season ago, but I really struggle to see how they're going to be better. So that's my big question for the White Sox this season. Will they really be better? I know that progression to the mean is a thing, that it truly is hard to lose 121 games in a major league season. And I know that Luis Robert probably had the worst possible season that he could have given you a year ago. And so he's bound to be better. Andrew Benintendi's got to be kind of better, right? But you look at it, yeah, it strikes fear. I don't know that it does strike fear in the hearts of White Sox. I think at this point, White Sox fans are just so apathetic and frustrated at this point that it's just, whatever. It is what it is. These guys aren't going to invest. And you do kind of have to wonder what the White Sox plan is here. Obviously, they are still clearly rebuilding. But they've got a terrific farm system at this point. It's considered to be one of the top 10. Some have it as a top 5 farm system in all of baseball. And that's great, but that's not doing you anything now. And they also didn't go out and really get any free agents of any kind of consequence. Not even the guys where it's, hey, we'll give you a few $1 million if you come here and try to have a rebound year. And then if you do, we'll send you somewhere competitive for the back end of the season so you can go compete in the playoffs and try to win a World Series. And meanwhile, we'll stockpile some more prospects. They didn't even do that. So I really do wonder, will the Sox be any better this year? Garrett Crochet is gone. Michael Kopech is gone. Eloy Jimenez gone. Yoan Moncada gone. Luis Robert is going to be gone. He's either going to be gone or he's going to be so bad that he's hurting you this season. So you're not going to have a full 162 game or 140 or whatever it would be out of Luis Robert helping you. You have got so many bad pieces on this roster. I know that progression to the mean is a thing, but beyond that, I don't see a plan past that for how this team is going to be better. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, they'll lose around 100 games, and that'll be a massive improvement because that's 20 more wins. I don't see where those 20 wins are going to come from, to be honest. I think for the White Sox, I think this is going to be anywhere between 115 and 125 losses. I know that makes me quite a bit more pessimistic towards the White Sox than a lot of other people, but that's really, I just don't see. I believe the players want to win. I don't think the organization has any interest in winning this season. And you see that in the moves that they made and the moves they didn't make, that it's going to be really tough for this team to come anywhere near 60 wins, I think, this season. I would not be surprised at all if it is a sub 50 win season for the second year in a row for the White Sox. But we will keep you up to date on everything going on both sides of town all throughout the baseball season. Also, here at IE Sports Radio, we have a new fully dedicated baseball show for you. So whether you're a North Sider or a South Sider, minor league, whatever, college, whatever your passion is for baseball, Tuesday nights, 8:00 Central Time. So just about the time this show would be wrapping up is when they get started. Alden K, Mike Pat, and Ricky K all talk baseball every Tuesday night. They have a lot of fun with it. They do an outstanding job breaking everything down. So if you want more dedicated baseball talk, Tuesday nights, 8:00 Central, the Bullpen Bulletin, they will keep you covered. They will get you caught up on everything you need to know. As for what we need to know on this show, we're going to transition a little bit. We are going to go from baseball to hardball. We are going to talk some basketball. Both of Illinois' teams have been knocked out, both the men's and women's, out of the NCAA tournament. They both made it to the second round, though. We will recap for both of them and take a look ahead. And then we've got a couple of individual achievements to celebrate as well over on the West Side. Lots to come yet here on the show. This is Chi-Town Weekly, part of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Minnesota sports? Do you love the Vikings and hate the Packers? Are you a fan of the Timberwolves, Twins, Wild, Lynx, St. Paul Saints? Here on the Bold North Breakdown, we'll talk about all of those professional teams as well as all the college teams in the area. That's your basketball teams, football, hockey, volleyball, men's and women's sports alike. We talk about them all. Here on the Bold North Breakdown. Join me, your host, Glenn Ritter, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central to discuss all that is happening in the Minnesota sports scene here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnick here with you for another 10 minutes or so. Here, talked a lot of baseball on the show, but we're not going to be just baseball tonight. We will talk some basketball. Illinois out of the NCAA tournament. Both men and women's teams made it to the second round. For the women, it was the first time in quite a while that they had made it there. For the men, it was a nice showing in the first round, but the second round ultimately was not kind for either of them, unfortunately. For the men, last night against Kentucky, you knew that was going to be tough. I talked with Matthew Garner, friend of the program. We've had him on a couple of times in the past to preview the tournament. He's a bit of a bracketologist. I had talked with him ahead of time and said, really, what is Illinois looking like here as we get into the tournament? And he said, should get past the first round. Kentucky's going to be a tough out in that second round. That's going to be a tough one. Still, as I was getting my brackets ready, I hemmed and hawed on it. I went ahead and I put Illinois into the Sweet 16. I decided to try to give them the upset, try to will it into existence. Too many turnovers in that game last night against Kentucky. You just can't turn the ball over the way they do, the way they did, and expect to have any kind of success and consistency there. And then to come out to make it such a point of emphasis too in the halftime discussions and halftime prep, and then they just turn around and the very first possession turn the ball over. It's just, it felt kind of doomed from there out, that it was just they were constantly going to be playing catch up the entire time there in that second half. Did close to within 6 with about a minute and 20 left to go in the game. Thought maybe there's a chance that things could get could get interesting here, and maybe some magic will happen, but it ultimately was not meant to be, and Illinois falls 84-75 and gets knocked out in the second round. Still, overall, a good season for the Illini, 22-13 overall. Made some nice strides in the Big Ten overall. Now you've got to work on retaining. You've got to work on recruiting. You've got to work on, that transfer portal. Illinois definitely they have embraced the fact that the three-pointer is now such an important and vital part of the modern way that basketball is played. They weren't afraid to shoot threes as a team. Now you've got to get better as a team of making those threes. That was a problem for the team as a whole. Made 309 out of 992 3-point attempts. That's just a shade over 31%. You gotta increase that a little bit, whether it's through recruiting, traditional recruiting, or scouring the transfer portal and seeing who you can get to come to Champaign for that program and try to help increase your 3-point shooting. They have no problems shooting the three. They got to make the three. That's the big thing. Meanwhile, for the women's side, a round one victory was outstanding and fantastic and very exciting for Illinois as they beat Creighton 66-57. However, that's as far as the excitement would go there. Unfortunately, earlier this afternoon, Illinois took on number 1 Texas and got blown out 65-48. Not really close by any stretch. It was close in the first quarter for a little bit there. It was tied at 10 with about 3 minutes to go, and then Illinois went cold. Illinois from there then only scored all of 4 points from about 3 minutes to go in the first until there were just under 8 minutes to go in the second. So a span of well over half a quarter there where they scored just 4 points, and then another dry spell where they didn't get to 16 until there was a minute and a half left in the second. So they went fully over a quarter's worth of time and scored all of 6 points. That's just that did them in from that point out. Just never really was in the ball game there at that point. So Illinois women knocked out in the second round, losing to 1 seed Texas 65-48 this afternoon. So still a job well done by Illinois to get into the tournament and to win a tournament game. So job well done there on that front, ladies. And now they've got to build on and have this start to be a regular thing, have getting to the second round be a regular occurrence. Got a couple more individual kudos to give out here on the show before we wrap things up. Congratulations, Connor Bedard for the Blackhawks. He's been on a heater as of late, 3 goals in the last 4 games for the Hawks. He has now hit 20 goals on the season. He is just the second teenager in Blackhawks history to record multiple 20 goal seasons as a teenager. So the other being Eddie Olczyk about 40 years ago. So congratulations to Connor Bedard. The Blackhawks, they won yesterday, beating the Flyers 7-4. The fun part there was that Ben Johnson was in attendance, Ben Johnson and his family, and the Blackhawks responded by scoring 7. Hopefully the first of many, many, many touchdowns that Ben Johnson gets to witness during his time in Chicago. Next up for the Hawks, they stay at home for the rest of the week. They play the New Jersey Devils on Wednesday, follow that up with the Vegas Golden Knights on Friday, and then the Utah Hockey Club on Sunday afternoon for the rest of this week's games. So 3 more games coming up for the Hawks this week as they wrap up and finish out what's left of the 2024-2025 season that they've got. Some other history to celebrate tonight as well for the Bulls, the other team, which we're going to talk about them a little bit more in depth next week, as they have gone on a little bit of a heater of their own. They are absolutely, it looks like now, going to be making some kind of postseason play. We'll talk about this a little bit more next week as part of next week's show. But congratulations, Kobe White, for the second week in a row, was named the NBA's Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He is the first Bull to have that honor since Michael Jordan to win back-to-back Eastern Conference Player of the Week. So congratulations, Kobe White, for making that little piece of history. The Bulls, they've won their last 2. They beat the Kings, and then they also throttled the Lakers out in Los Angeles on Saturday night. Coming up for the Bulls, they play tonight here just about now. They're getting ready to tip off out in Denver, taking on the Nuggets. Then they will host the Lakers on Thursday night, and then also host the Mavericks on Saturday night. And then they'll be on the road then next Monday night while we're doing the show. They will be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. But congratulations to Kobe White, back-to-back Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Well done there for Kobe White. That is going to do it for our show here this evening. Big shout out and thank you to each and every one of our sponsors. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. The jerky is on a whole other planet. Go to planetjerky.net to place your order. Thank you also to Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Go to vitalapparel.com, use the promo code IESR, and get 15% off of their comfortable and inspiring gym wear. Thank you also to Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Follow them on Instagram at Seal the Deal _Wax Seals. Go to iesportradio.com/Seal the Deal Wax Seal to place your order. And also thank you to Raw Nutrition Supplements. Go to getrawnutrition.com. Use the promo code IESR for 10% off of your order there. Thank you also to Larry B, the czar and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio, for all the hard work you do behind the scenes, sir. It does not go unnoticed, nor is it unappreciated. Thank you also for hanging out during the show with us tonight. Good to see you, as well as Brian Frankione, Mike Pat, Ralph Felice, and Karen Rodriguez. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us in the chat room tonight. Really appreciate that. Thank you to everybody that was watching the show live here tonight across YouTube or Twitch or Twitter. Also, thank you to everybody that listened to the show later on as a podcast, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get your podcast. Thank you for being here and making this part of your weekly sport routine. Whether it's your first show or you've been here for all 222, I really appreciate you being here. Next week, we'll check in on the Bulls as they're starting to heat up, and might a 7 or 8 team even be in the cards for them. And we will check in on how both Cubs and White Sox did over opening weekend of the MLB season, and the draft is right around the corner in the NFL. We'll check in on the Bears. Until then, we'll see you next time.